Call this meeting to order of the Danville Redevelopment Commission, regularly scheduled June 8th, 2022 hearing. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For quorum purposes, we have 4 voting members present. We're missing Mr. Van Leer and Dr. Tracy Schaefer. So we do have a quorum to conduct business. We have some minutes in front of us. We're in our packets from the April 13th, 2022 meeting. Any comments, edits, or motions?
I have read them, and I make a motion that we accept them as presented.
We have a motion.
I would second.
A second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
I wanted to let you know that Greg Van Leer is on virtual.
Hi, Greg. Please let the record reflect that Mr. Van Leer is present virtually. Thank you for letting me know. Would you pass that down to Gary? Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have new business tonight. TIF management report, acknowledgement of receipt, approval not required. So brief explanation.
Well, this is part of the requirements of the RDC, and I placed a copy of the report that Jenny put into Gateway, just for your information, just so you can see what was entered. And I'd be happy to answer any questions for you.
We have to meet on the 15th for that.
Yes, there will be a meeting on June 5th. Well,
That scheduled
What do you
as a
mean?
public hearing or
I'm sorry,
scheduled as a public hearing?
no.
Okay.
I also wanted to let you know, I talked to Jenny today, and she said that she's proposing to use a portion of the East Main allocation for the residents at 195. I think it's at 195 Tennessee. She just wanted me to give you an update on that.
Good. Thought that would be the case.
Is that right, Mark? When Jenny, I'm sorry, Jenny I talked to her today, and she wanted me to let them know that she's proposing to use the East Main allocation funds for the, not 195 Tennessee.
Yes.
Correct?
She talked to
Yeah.
Lisa Lee, and everything was copacetic, and because the Main Street obviously isn't any money at all.
Right.
So, all from last year.
Good. I have one question just at the very bottom of the page on the expenditure. Was this money that came out of the East Commerce Park TIF? Oh, okay. It's the expenditure. 46,442.59 expenditure to ADS Advanced Drainage and C. Swanson Trucking.
That's for the,
That was coming out.
yes.
Yeah, that was the money that we talked about probably 2 years ago, that particular.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions about the TIF report? Very good. No action needed then?
Nope.
Thank you. We have some items up for discussion tonight. Bullet point 1, the RDC key dates and annual requirements on June 15th. Lisa?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that we did get the letter sent out to the overlapping taxing units, that there will not be a pass-through. All the monies will be used for expenses. But that did go out and to all of the taxing units, and it will probably be put in Gateway once,
Okay.
to meet that deadline.
And is the June 15th the deadline? Is that the
Yes,
deadline date?
that
Okay.
is correct.
And we're going to meet that.
Yes.
Very good.
And I did talk to Nancy Marsh today. We had a question about, was a resolution required for that? And I talked to her and she said no, so we should be good.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission? Seeing none, we'll move on then to the next bullet points. Notice of assessment of land, 195 East Main.
That's just something that we received, and I just wanted to put it in your packet and make you aware of that.
It surprised me that there was nothing, it's the same. They moved the money around a little bit, but the total was the same. Wish that was the case on my property.
Any questions on this notice of assessment? Comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on then to the next bullet point, the lawn treatment at the vacant lot between 195 and the old Pop Logan's. Mike Cupp, the owner of Pop Logan's, is having his lawn treated, and it's such a little space for them that they could do our vacant lot as well under the same contract at no charge to the commission, and he's offering that to us. And I told him we would talk about it and
Some sort of
see
an
what,
olive branch?
see what we wanted to do. I don't know. Could be, but
Did any of you drive by there?
I walked by it today.
Did you see that the grass is all the way up to the building?
Yeah.
There's an alleyway there. How that grass got in that alleyway, I don't know.
So that's the grass he's talking about treating. That's the only grass,
Alleyway is an alleyway. It's either stone, gravel, pavement, or grassed. And to my knowledge, that alleyway has never been grassed. It's been a gravel alleyway. Typically, it stays that way unless someone petitions to change it, budget, do it. So, my recommendation to the RDC is to not be a participant in this activity. I know we should be good neighbors and want to do this and that, but I'm not comfortable.
Well, my additional comment, I walked by there a lot coming back, and I just walked by there just an hour ago, coming back from the DAC. And I've not noticed, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I've not noticed anybody sowing grass seed or putting any sod down. I've not noticed anything. I do know what you're talking about, but I've not noticed anyone do anything to create it that way. I mean, I think it's been that way for quite some, or do you think it's done recently? Something's done recently? Does anybody have a feel for that?
I have pictures, but it'd take me a minute.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
take
think
pictures
it's
of
been
that all
done
the time.
recently.
You do?
I think
Wow.
so, because some of the pictures that I've seen of the flower pots that were placed, there was stone at
Under
that
the flower
time.
pots, yeah.
So,
Well, happened pretty quick.
yeah.
any other thoughts, comments?
One of my reports here talks about how we might want to, no pun intended, treat that property. So I guess I would like to present that to you guys before we, make a decision on. And treatment. What exactly is he talking about? Like
Every day, yeah.
spray and all that.
everyday
Yeah, so I
comment,
definitely would like to present this idea before we vote or not vote.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, this set of pictures in your packet. After you and I talked about how to go forward with this, possible landscaping on this, I contacted Bears Lawn Care and had them come out and do an estimate, which is also included in your packet. And I never expected it to be quite that much, but that's just a beginning point. The reason that I would like us to do something with this vacant lot is how it looks. It looks horrifying. It's not in very good shape. And as you come up the hill, that's what you see. And I would like us to put forth some money to make it look more attractive, especially with that parking lot being a focal point, with all the activities going on, people are coming in that area. It should be more attractive to the businesses around it. So I would like us to put our best foot forward and do that. So this first picture, where you do see the planters that were removed, would be a row.
Which,
Yeah.
must not be looking at the right.
It's all the pictures. Sorry.
Oh, okay, I'm in the wrong packet, okay.
That's okay. I could have labeled them, that would have
Okay.
made that a little easier. Okay, so if you also go to the, oh, sure.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay. So on the estimate from Bears, I'm just going to briefly explain the whole thought process. So where the pots were, planting a row of arborvitaes as a natural barrier between the two properties to prevent what those pots were there to prevent, people driving through and causing ruts and causing problems. And then a separation, and also something that looks more attractive when you're coming up the hill, especially when the porta potties are sitting, on the east side of his building, then they would be a little bit more camouflaged. Then picture to the right, those trees, those mature trees are in good shape, nothing to do there. The next picture in the middle column on the left is the forsythias that are really overgrown and in bad shape, and those should be removed. Then going over to the right, it's kind of a natural little berm over here, a raised area, and that all needs to be cleaned out. And that would be the area where the hostas and some of these plants would go. The tree picture, and poor Judy has talked about this all the time, all the viney stuff, it's going to choke the tree and damage it, plus it looks horrifying. And this evergreen is in good shape. Nothing needs to happen to it. Going to the next page, just an example of, what happens when the trucks and stuff or cars drive through that. Showing the porta potties and how the arborvitaes would kind of cover those when those are there.
That picture does show the alley Gary's talking about.
Kind of, yeah. And the whole point of going back to the very first picture, which shows the long view. Trying to keep this really simple, not blocking the view to the library and the parking lots, not trying to, make it totally secluded, but cleaning up the west side or cleaning up the east side, the privacy stuff on the west side, the barrier, but keeping it, open so that it's, still attractive looking, but you can still see what's the businesses and stuff around it. It's just an eyesore from a agricultural, architectural, landscaping kind of a point of view. So This estimate, like I said, that's a lot of money. Just the very first people that I've talked to, so just throwing that out there. Going towards having somebody come in with a lawn care, I would be concerned if we spent money and things, getting killed off because somebody's in there spraying not carefully. It's just not my favorite way of treating things, but that's just me. That's that.
I just can't say I would be in favor of this. I think that our long-term goal is to ultimately develop this property.
Yes.
And it just seems like spending any money when it's not in the long-term goal just doesn't feel right to me. I just don't think that's a good use of the public's money. Should we clean this up a little bit? Yeah. Could we make this look better? Sure.
But how? That's
Well,
my.
I mean, I guess what? Give me a half a day and some tools, and
Well,
I'll
and
make.
that's-
I mean, look, come by and see my yard.
Or mine too. I mean, that's all I do.
I can make this look a lot better and not spend any money. Now, may I have a question? Who mows this?
PPW.
Okay,
Yep.
so as long as we're mowing it, I could clean it up a little. I just don't think the long-term goal of developing this, spending any money at all, I would not be in favor of. Sorry, that's my opinion.
So our Public Works Department does take care of any town property, which the RDC obviously is an arm of the town. We did send them up at one point to address the hardwood tree there by, between the two properties. The problem we ran into at the time that we went up there is that the RDC did not own the house, the rental unit, and our Public Works Superintendent was very concerned without having a survey done if it was actually on the town's property to be able to fix that. Since then, I've probably not sent him back up since, but I'd be more than happy to send him up there and trim all that stuff out of there. As far as the alleyway is concerned and looking at the picture, and this is purely speculation on my part, I believe Gary's accurate. There was an alleyway there. However, I believe when the house was raised, there was probably no longer that's where they accessed their part of getting into that house. Therefore, with no vehicular traffic there, I'm sure the grass naturally just took its way over and said, this is now mine. And so that's probably what I was going to get to. The other thing, as you guys debate this, I just wanted you to know that I did contact Mrs. Piercy, and there is no money in edit because all of the money that was spent to purchase the house, there's not $9,000 in edit. So the only way that this could ever occur is if it became a host fund project, and obviously that would take council voting at that point. So I just wanted you to know that there was no money left after the purchase of the house for this calendar year. It doesn't mean that there won't be more money next year, but for right now, she said everything has been tapped.
Understood.
Oh, and like I said, $9,000, I was,
What the rotation is on mowing, like how many days or weeks between mows?
I can check with Andy and find out what he's doing there. I don't know how old these pictures are. Has the grass grown up in there again, or?
No, it looks
Do I-
okay. The
okay.
grass has been mowed recently.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say he's mowing it probably the same time he's doing the rest of the town's properties,
oh, it looks fine.
would be my guess.
Thank you.
And like I said, I just wanted,
Yeah.
I had no
Sure.
idea. We're talking that kind of money. My concern mostly is having that some kind of a barrier. And I know we're talking about developing it, but how long? How long in the future? I mean, is it worth a little bit of investment to have some kind of a natural barrier there if we don't want the pot sitting there? That's my concern too.
That was me.
May I make a suggestion then?
Sure.
Could you guys, now that we know that the property, it's all our property, could he go up and do a little cleanup there, a little pruning and a little,
I'll recommend it tomorrow.
Would you, and
In
then,
fact,
and then we could
I may
look
do it
at it
before I leave
again
here
and
tonight.
see, okay, has this made it look better? Is it, you know, how's it look now?
Sure.
And maybe that would be something, I think it would be a first step before we,
I'd be happy to send him an email before I leave here tonight, actually, and ask him to go up there.
regardless of what we ultimately do, that seems like that's at least a
Sure.
good first step.
Are we concerned about having to have a barrier?
Now, you're talking about a barrier between our property and Cups.
Yeah, because the pots were put there because people were driving through
Right.
that lot.
Yeah.
And tearing up what the DPW had so wonderfully fixed. And then they drove on it again, and you can see the ruts from the rain picture. I mean,
I'm personally not concerned. It's not. For a few reasons. One, I think it's fairly well established at this point. Close enough. At the time, it's been a while since anyone's
yes,
acknowledged.
yes.
So I think it
Oh, okay.
has my satisfaction.
And there's two things that concern me is, one, knowing the mindset of Mr. Cup. If he goes in and he takes care of it with our permission, somewhere down the road, he's going to say, I've been taking care of it, I've been spending dollars on it, that should be mine. And I know it's silly, but that's his mindset. The other thing is that, possibility that you can vacate that alleyway. Half of it, all of it, going from yeah. The street you live on.
Marion,
Right, yep.
Marion, thank you. So, you know,
It's a possibility, and
those are possibilities there.
as we get into the redevelopment of this corner, I'm sure that will be a topic of conversation. Is that alleyway needed for access or utilities? Is it not? Can it be used for, to be vacated for additional buffer or what have you? Those are the types of questions that'll come into play when it gets. But you're absolutely right. It's probably, what, a 10-foot alleyway, I'm guessing?
10 or 12, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I agree with Ben, leave it as is.
So here would be my, I guess, suggestion for the commission to consider so we can make a decision on this matter, that we cordially and respectfully decline the offer. That after DPW goes through and takes a whack at some of the overgrowth, that, David, I'm happy to join you for a community service day.
okay, yeah.
And bring the free help that lives at my house to,
Great.
you know, do what we can. Spend a day in the yard. And that we, Linda, I think we should table the improvements discussion.
We don't, I mean,
And see, because I agree with you. So I liken this to, let's say, the Danner's lot. That was just grass, weeds for a few years before it was redeveloped. And, you know, it didn't look great, but it was passable at least, and I think everybody understood what it was. We can make this look a little bit better, maybe we don't have to spend. But, you know, if it's gonna be a long-term undeveloped piece of property, we just don't know how long that would be. And I do expect us to, at some point in the fairly near future, to start having some serious discussions about what to do with it. We really haven't had any serious. That time hopefully is approaching. Now that we know what our area parameters are to work with, things pretty well settled at this point on what's included and what isn't, that we could maybe bring somebody in and start having those talks. So we don't need a motion or anything on this. Is everybody comfortable with kind of that?
Y'all done with me? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
there's always, there's always groups in the area who might be willing to come in and do, plantings of, hostas or whatever. We've got the FFA
Yeah.
people, we've got master gardeners. If we want to do it ourselves, we totally can. I wanted to see what was out there, and now we know. And, no, I don't want to spend my money. No.
I think it's a great piece for community service. Or for however long that is.
And that's the other thing, not knowing what kind of time frame, and I didn't want it just to sit. And also, not keep asking bunches of stuff.
Yeah.
So they've got, that was,
Are the pots, big planters gone now? Been removed?
I believe they're still, are they gone?
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns about this? Gary, good? Right. That brings us to the end of our items for discussion, so I will then open it up to the commission members, starting down with Gary. Just any other items for discussion?
I don't think so.
Linda?
yes. Just a general thought and blessing, also involving no money whatsoever. The picture of the sidewalk and wall, the wonderful sidewalk and wall that the DPW put in. So what I would like our blessing or thoughts on is painting a mural on that wall, again, to beautify this area, since we know it's going to stay. I was hesitant to pursue this before, but now we know it'll be here. But make it as far as funding goes, local businesses, and I've been working with Ann Johansson with the Danville Downtown Partnership and working with an artist for a while. So just wanted general thoughts and blessings from you guys to try and keep beautifying that area. And Mary's already painted two murals with the bird basket. So she does amazing work, and she's done other stuff downtown. So just thoughts, blessings, whatever.
Anyone? David? Gary?
No cost, right? Is that what you just said?
Correct? No. No. Mm-mm.
That owned
I
by-
feel like I'm a naysayer today. I'm trying to visualize, when you say wall,
The wall.
it looks a lot more like a curb to me than a wall.
It's a little bit taller than that,
But
It's almost like a curb stop.
but it's a little bit
Keep
taller.
vehicles from going over.
That was a hill.
To me, I
It was
think
a-
I think it's town property. I think it's up
Oh,
to
I
the
know.
council to manage.
No, I know. I just wanted, we're talking about this area, the block.
I think to channel, I mean, I think it's wonderful with volunteers and to pay to do, I'm just wondering if we couldn't use that effort somewhere else. I don't know. This just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't seem to me a place that you'd put any effort to make it look better when it looks, I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. Maybe I just will, I don't know. I just think it almost, I just hate to see someone volunteer and do something when maybe we could channel those efforts somewhere where it would be, that's just my, I mean, I'm not like against it or anything, I just don't see it. But sorry, that's just my comment.
I don't really have thoughts one way or the
That's
other.
okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
No,
would
it
be
has to
fine.
go before the council anyway, because it's their law.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, all right,
okay.
all right.
Thank you.
Yes.
What else?
Does everybody know where the bird basket and stands on things as far as?
Tell us.
Okay, so after discussing things with Ben, I've had 2 meetings with Judy at the Bread Basket. And after many family discussions for theirs, they're perfectly happy staying where they're at with the building the way it is. And so that lets us know, how that property's going to go.
Having that discussion.
Yep. And then Dr. Barta, who owns the dental office now, gave me a call. And because I have kept them informed too about this whole process. And it was just an informative meeting saying, this is what's happening. You may or may not be impacted, and I just want to be kept in the loop. So,
Very good.
yep, that was fine. Yep,
Thank you.
yep. Yep.
Community liaison. Good job.
Rumor I hear through the town of Danville is that the Redevelopment Commission is tearing down those buildings and putting up a 4-story condos.
And the parking lot, or the parking garage, don't forget the
I
parking
don't know
garage.
how in the hell that got started.
Who knows?
Social media.
Yeah.
Moving on then, David, do you have any?
I do have a question. The letters that we sent out to the property owners out by the airport, where do we stand in that process? What's the next step, or what do we do next?
Well, have received response from 84 Lumber, and they did submit an application, but they're kind of holding off. We're waiting to see Dwayne Lane's property across the street to the east. To be contiguous, that has to be annexed, and we
So
haven't
84
gone through that process.
84 Lumber's interested in moving forward. That's
They are.
great.
They are,
That's great.
yeah.
Good.
That, and of course, we've had conversations with Ken Edmondson, and he's working with his family to see, to try to work out something, and have not heard anything back from him.
Well, that's
So-
generated some interest and
But,
discussion.
yeah, those are the only two people that have actually responded from the letters that were sent out.
Very good.
What would our next move be then? Is it now just still holding and?
I think so, unless you want to send another letter out, to the other property owners at some point and make another request.
I would pitch that once the first wave of annexations come in, that if there's a next piece of property that we would really like to come into the town, that we reach out to them in some way, shape, or form, since they've already had one. Just anyone in this room, whoever has the best relationship. Most likely. So we'll let the Edmondsons work through their, need any more pressure. They know where we stand and. Good?
Yep.
Lisa, do you have anything
I do not.
else? Else? Okay. Well, I think we have reached the end of our agenda. I have a,
A quick question. What's the Homeland Security, Michael Cup, permission from Homeland Security to keep having his things every month? Getting permission from them or something? Sorry, Mark.
I understand the nature of the question.
I don't know. He said something about getting permission from Homeland Security to keep having his monthly concerts there.
Between him and the state of Indiana, we don't have a dog in that fight, so I don't know
What's
going on there.
Okay.
As far as the town is concerned, we've investigated if we have a permitting process that would be applicable here, and we don't believe we do.
Okay.
We believe that anything that he's doing there would be, again, involving the state of Indiana.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. No, that's okay. And just real quick,
Mm-hmm.
so other, like the BZA and maybe the Plan Commission is going to start having a lawyer present at their meetings. Is that something that we need to do?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
And they're not going to start having one unless the budget will have to be passed for that to occur. That, yeah, I can't make that occur. I can't produce another $18,000 to have an attorney at those meetings, so.
If we had another attorney, it would probably be through Baker Daniels, wouldn't it?
Actually, the estimate that I've received is also from Taft Law that does our council meetings now, so.
Ice Miller usually does.
Oh, for redevelopment, yes, I apologize, I understand, I didn't understand your question, but yes. In fact, I believe this commission has used Ice Miller in the past,
Correct.
yeah,
We have.
Okay.
when it's necessary, obviously.
Right,
Yeah.
true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's nothing further, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
I have a motion by Greg Van Leer and a second by Mr. Aiken. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good job.